All right, so welcome back to another Q&A video. Video where I have a little footage going and I answer the comments that were left on last week's Q&A video. So I'm going to try to get to most of those comments that were left last week, some of the questions. If I did already go through and either answer a reply to a comment or leave you a heart on the comment, those will not be in this video. What I do is I just pull the comments from the video that I haven't responded to yet, and then I put those up on the screen and I go through those. So if you're new here for the first time, this is, like I said, something I just started trying here beginning of the year, a little different format. It's a Q&A video. So basically, if you have a question for me on anything at all, ask me anything, leave that down in the comment of this video you're watching right now, and then next week's Q&A video, I'll answer that question or that comment. So this week I'm going to be have some footage of me refilling the roadside stand. So I'm going to roll that. I'm not sure. I should be able to get through all the remaining comments and questions. But if I do run out of time, I'll either restart the footage or maybe I'll just, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how far we get. All right. So here I am now over. I'm ready to fill up the roadside stand. Let me bring on the questions. And we'll get things going back there. Like I said, filling up the roadside stand. So, first comment was from Nebraska Wood STR. Good way to get a couple things covered at the same time. I have been following you for about a year and I just launched my channel this week. You have provided me the inspiration to join the firewood community. Thanks for all you do, Nebraska Wood STR. Well, congratulations on the channel, and I'm glad that I could inspire you to both jump into the world of firewood and this crazy, wacky world we call YouTube. Hopefully you enjoy it. Remember, just keep things fun, and that's the main thing to do. All right, next we have our good friend and fellow woodhound over in Belgium, Ludo. This new format is really a splendid idea for your channel. Thank you very much, Ludo. I hope so. Like I said, last week it was a pretty good response, so I'm happy with the way that went. And so we'll see how long we keep it going. Honeybee says, this is much easier to follow. The live stream was fun, but very hectic. Thank you. Yes, I understand. And the live stream being... It can get full of a lot of chats going back and forth with people in the stream, also with me trying to answer questions. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I started doing these videos. I think it's just an easier way for those who aren't able to attend the live streams to jump on here, watch this video, leave a comment, and I will try to answer it. Next, we have Kindling and Firewood. Those totes are great for drying out firewood. They are stackable too. Save space in the yard, and the top tote works as a cover for the bottom one. Yes, I've seen many people stack them up. I'm just a little nervous, being that some of them have the front side cut out, and also with little boss man running around, 7-year-old in the wood yard every now and then, just makes me nervous to have him potentially climbing on them and tipping them over, or something like that happening. So I don't stack them on top of each other. I just stack them one layer. One layer high is good enough for me. William Miller, how did the bulk firewood bags work out? They worked out, I don't know exactly for sure. I mean, they worked out fine to put the wood in, move them around on a pallet. In about a month or so, I'm going to be taking some of the wood out that I put in a year ago and testing it to see how it works. But yeah, it was a little, they're not very handy to load if you don't have a conveyor, I don't think. But as far as moving them around and stuff, it's kind of like the IBC tote. The good thing with the bag is, though, you can hook onto the bottom and lift it up and dump it out easier than you can dump out an IBC tote. Stanley Keith, question, Dan, do you own the Yappa or is it still on loan? The Yappa is still on a demo loaner program, I guess, to me, from Metza Machines, Bob Nelson. I've not bought it yet, so yeah, it's still here in demo mode. Peewee.31. Hey Shifty, great video. Have you seen Have you ever said what your Monday to Friday job is? Been watching for a couple of years now. Well, I appreciate you watching for a few years there, Pee-wee31. I've never said who and where I work. Just kind of kept that private. I don't know. I have mentioned before my title, my job role, I guess description right now is a business process analyst. Before that, I was an application developer and then web developer, web designer, graphic designer. All those positions I have been over the course of the year at this company. And coming up this August, I will have been there 10 years. All right, next we're on to Craig Wilson. Hope you're feeling better, Craig. These totes are handy. Has a coyote ever not been able to pick one up? No. I've never been able to not pick one up. It's just a limit of how high I can lift it depending on how full it is. Like if it's stacked full of oak, I probably won't be able to lift that up into the bed of a truck, but I will be able to lift it up enough to move it around. And the higher, the more that's in the tote, the higher you lift it, the more weight you better have on the back end for ballast, because it will lift it up, but it'll be heavy in the front. Larry, how many of those totes do you go through in a winter? I only have about 12 total totes. I burn roughly 10 to 12 full cords a year. So if I were to have all of the wood I would burn in a year in totes, it would probably be right around 40 to 45 totes I'd be comfortable with, saying that that would be 1 year supply. And then if you wanted to be 2 years ahead, I would technically need probably around 90 to 100 totes. So that's a lot of totes. I will be trying to get a few more here and there if I see them, because they do end up working out nice to bring wood in. Kenneth, I see you're stacking the wood in the totes this time. You can fit way more in, stacked, looking good. Yeah, sometimes if I'm splitting right off the splitter, I'll let it just fall in. But like in this case with that, or in the last video I had where I was stacking the pine in there, that's what I was, and I figured with the pine, it would be, once it dries out, it's a little lighter, so be easier to move around if it was stacked in there. And like you said, I would get more of it in there. Lynn, I like your channel. One question. Do you ever use whole blocks instead of splitting them? A friend of mine in northern Alberta used whole blocks for his boiler. Never had a problem. He uses dry spruce, pine, birch, and poplar, not split. Yeah, I mean, if I get a standing dead oak tree and it's like 6 inch, rounds, I probably won't split those if I knew I was going to burn them in the boiler. But everything else, I just like splitting it just to get it split open, so I know that it's going to have the best, potential seasoning or potential opportunity to season well and be fully seasoned when I burn it. People will argue that you can just burn rounds in your boiler, no problem, and you can. But the thing that I've found with rounds is that, like with oak, if you left an 8 to 10 inch round of oak unsplit, even after 2 years, the moisture inside is still going to be high. And so then when you throw that round in your boiler, that moisture has to be cooked off. It's got to go somewhere. So you're going to be using energy from other wood in your boiler to evaporate that moisture. So in a sense, you could technically, if you were to probably scientifically figure it out, you would end up burning more wood if your rounds, had a lot of moisture inside them. So that's why I just split everything. Sometimes if I know now that I know I have a good 1.5 to 2 year supply ahead, I'll split things a little bit bigger just because I know they're going to have more time to season. Daniel Atkins, how much trouble would it be to move the boiler over so you could dump with the bucket on the tractor? I'm not sure. I know that tubing that comes up with the PEX inside of it and everything is somewhat flexible, so I might be able to just dig that out a little bit, and it's in the ground. I could maybe dig around it, maybe slide it over a little bit. I might have to look into that, but then I'd also have to cut that foundation out of the wall to drive in. And so, you know, I've thought about it. We'll have to see. Jeff Moon, I noticed that one of your totes did not have any of the metal cage removed and one did. Which do you prefer? For unloading, I prefer to have the front cut out if I know I'm going to be, you know, reaching inside there. But it also does come in handy if I know I'm not going to be stacking the wood in the tote to have that front fully on. So I kind of have a mix right now. I did just recently cut the fronts out of 3 that didn't have the fronts cut out because, like I said, it does make it easier when I take them into the woodshed to unload and pull the wood out of. So I guess I would prefer the fronts cut open. Deadwood Productions, great video, community interaction, answering questions. The first video I did to start my channel, I just used my iPhone 12 Pro. Do you recommend the GoPro to get multiple angle views you achieve on your videos or something different? It all depends. So I started out with just an iPad, and then I went to the iPhone, and now I have an iPhone 12 Pro and a GoPro 10. I just recently added the GoPro, so up until then I was doing everything with just one camera. When you add 2 cameras, it does involve a little bit more, I guess, in your editing process, being able to line stuff up and get it to match and flow. It also maybe will add a little bit into your process as far as, for me anyway, I like to not be able to see cameras on tripods in any of the shots. So if I have 2 cameras set up, I want to make sure that they're framed out to where one camera isn't showing the other camera and vice versa. So it just depends. Having the 2 cameras rolling does allow you to, I guess, get more work done with not having to move cameras around. So that's an advantage. But like I said, it does slow down sometimes the editing process. So try it out both ways and see which way works good. It also depends on what you're doing. You know, sometimes one camera might just be fine for whatever you're doing. Pyroman 6000, a while back you had a video showing some big ugly grubs bored in the wood. Did you ever find out what they were? I did not. I don't know what their scientific name is, but they're big and they're ugly. And they're in pine. I think the ones in the pine, though, are different than the ones that I've found in the oak, I believe. Mike Adams, do folks ever return the bags from the wood stand? Yes, they do. I actually have a couple people that they'll save up their bags and they'll bring back like 10, 12 at a time. I don't offer like any refund or rebate program yet with that. I probably should look into it, but I do have a few people that do bring back the bags. Seth, what was it like for you in your first year in the wood business? Did you start out with the area you are at now or move up to a bigger work site? I actually started up front, kind of by the roadside stand where the wood gets dumped off. That was my little wood yard when I started. And then I progressed back to where the wood yard is now, and I probably increased the footprint of the wood yard. I don't even know how much more. But yeah, I've expanded the wood yard quite a bit from where I started. If you go back and watch a few of the earlier videos, you'll see that I'm up front. And I may not had a decent amount of space, but I would have never had enough space for like the volume of wood that I'm making now. Mostly just for myself to burn. I wouldn't have had enough room up there. So I'm glad I moved back to where I am now. Tobias, hey Dan, love the channel. Have you ever tried or considered bagging the bundle wood right away once you split it, and then stacking the bag bundles to let them season in the bag? I've not considered that. I have considered, and I have bundled ahead of time and then left them in like a big, stack them up on a pallet so I have them. The only thing I could potentially see causing an issue with stacking them right off the splitter would be that if you then stored them in like a wood in a pile, you might get rodents or something in between the bags, making a nest, chewing on the bags, and then you'd go to pull the bags up and there'd be a big rip in them, or, So I mean, it probably could be done as long as you kind of had a controlled environment. And now I just ran out of footage, so I'm going to restart my stacking video back there. I think we're almost done here, so we'll get this wrapped up in a hurry here. Len Smith. Hey Shifty, note that you had a homemade front end tote for your Coyote tractor in the back on. Tractor attachments fixed in the ply backing. Does Coyote sell these as separate parts? No, that was actually, those were fabricated by, you may have seen them in the comments or on the live stream, a woodhound over in eastern Wisconsin, Jared Hildebrandt, made those. And then I added the planking on them, and that used to be my carry-all for the back of the tractor. And now I use it with the forks as like a bucket, a firewood bucket on the front. Sure Flame Firewood, at what point are you going to be able to quit your day job and do full-time YouTube and firewood entrepreneur? Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know if that's really ever been on my, I guess, agenda or plan. We'll see. We'll see how things keep going this year. If the channel keeps growing, we'll see. But haven't really had too many thoughts about making it my full-time gig just yet. David, great videos. Have you given up on big firewood bags, as I have picked up a conveyor and was thinking splitting right into the bags? Yes, that would be the way to do it. If you're going to use those big face cord firewood bags, you would need a conveyor, because loading them by hand, tossing the pieces up, first of all, you got to have your pallet forks up, holding the bag open, and you got to toss the wood up in there, and it's just a lot of extra work to hand load those bags. So if you have a conveyor, definitely would be the way to go. Dolmar Joe, Dan, I'm really enjoying your channel. Thank you very much. I've been watching you since you started. I really like this new format. Thanks again. Appreciate that feedback. My question to you is, do you or any of your neighbors feed those deer? Well, I know, well, I can neither confirm nor deny knowledge of what my neighbors may or may not be doing as far as feeding the deer. We do have a few bird feeders back there and a few squirrel feeders that I will neither confirm nor deny that some of the feed may or may not end up on the ground for the deer. But I mean, one of the things is I don't, like my neighbors, I'm not sure what they're exactly doing, but I wouldn't ever say one way or the other just because of some of the regulations we have as far around feeding deer. So, like I said, can't really confirm nor deny that. Hope you don't mind that roundabout answer. All right, Randall. I liked your way of showing something else while you talk. It made it more enjoyable than just someone talking. Also, rear ballast would still help traction even if your tires are filled. Yes. Even if your carry-all would, yeah. Well, appreciate the feedback on this little format. Thank you for that. And yeah, having the tires loaded and then also having, like when I'm moving logs right now, I have my carry-all frame back there and I throw a couple of logs on top of that just to give me a little extra weight back there. All right, and I think this is the last one we'll get to here. Christian K. Hey man, wondering what camera you use for videos. That would be my iPhone 12 Pro, and I just recently added the GoPro 10. So those right now are my two cameras. Main camera is the iPhone, and then, like I said, I just recently added the GoPro. All right, so there you go. Another Q&A video answering some comments and questions. Again, if you have anything that you would like to ask me, whether or not it's related to this video, what you saw me just stacking wood in the roadside stand or not, anything at all, ask me anything. Leave those down in the comments of this video, and then next week on the Q&A video, I will try to get to as many as I can within, 15, 20 minutes. Once again, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on another Q&A video. Until then, stay safe, have fun, and be cool.
starting to